My name is Isabella Reed. I was 27 years old when I met Ethan Carter, the man who changed my life forever. It all began on a warm summer evening at a friend's wedding in Ravenwood Town, a quiet place surrounded by green hills and tall trees. The lights at the party were soft and golden, and music filled the air. I was standing near the garden, watching people dance and laugh, when I saw him. He was standing across the room, tall and gentle, wearing a navy blue suit. Our eyes met for just a second, but something in his gaze made my heart skip a beat. After a while, he walked over to me and smiled. "Hi," he said softly. "I'm Ethan." We started talking that night for hours about our lives, our dreams, our fears, and the kind of future we both wanted. He was kind, patient, and funny. When I went home that night, I couldn't stop thinking about him. The next morning, my phone rang. It was him. Soon, we were talking every day over calls, texts, coffee dates, and long walks by the lake. Ethan listened to me like no one ever had. He made me feel seen, valued, and loved. I fell for him deeply and completely. And I believed he loved me the same way. One beautiful evening, we were walking in the park near the river. The sun was setting, painting the sky pink and gold. Suddenly, Ethan stopped, took my hand, and looked into my eyes. "Isabella," he said, his voice shaking a little, "I can't imagine my life without you. Will you marry me?" My heart raced. Tears filled my eyes. "Yes," I whispered, smiling through my tears. "Yes, I will." He slipped a small silver ring onto my finger. The world around us disappeared. It was just us, standing under the golden sky, dreaming of forever. We had a small wedding with only family and close friends. I wore a white dress with tiny flowers on it. When I said I do, I felt like the happiest woman alive. I thought it would be a perfect life full of love, laughter, and peace. But life had other plans. After the wedding, everything started to change. Ethan's mother, Victoria, became a part of our life in ways I never expected. She lived nearby and came to our house almost every day, often without calling. Sometimes she brought food, but most times she brought her opinions. "Isabella, don't cook this way. Ethan, wear a warm jacket. Ethan, sleep early." She treated Ethan like a little boy, not like a grown man with a wife. And the painful part, he always listened to her. I felt invisible, like a shadow in my own house. Victoria hardly ever spoke to me directly. When she did, her words were sharp. She often spoke about me, not to me even when I was in the same room. Slowly, my heart began to ache. The house didn't feel like mine anymore. It felt like hers. One day at lunch, she looked at me with a fake smile and said, "Isabella, you're very lucky to be Ethan's wife. Many women wanted to marry him." I stayed quiet. Her words burned inside me, but I didn't want to fight. Soon, Ethan started coming home late. Whenever I asked, he would say, "I was with Mom." I wanted to believe him, but my heart felt empty. I was married, but I felt completely alone. One night I gathered my courage and said, "Ethan, I feel so lonely. Your mother is always here. You hardly spend time with me." I feel like I've lost my husband. He sighed and said, Isabella, you're overreacting. Mom just wants to help. He didn't understand. He thought I was complaining. That night, I cried quietly on my side of the bed. The next few weeks were filled with fights, tears, and silence. One night, after a terrible argument, I couldn't take it anymore. I decided to leave. When Ethan fell asleep, I packed my bag. But early the next morning, I felt strange, dizzy, weak, and sick to my stomach. I bought a pregnancy test with trembling hands. When I saw the result, my eyes filled with tears. It was positive. I was pregnant. A tiny life was growing inside me. Our baby. My heart broke and healed at the same time. Maybe this baby would change everything. Maybe Ethan would see me again. Maybe Victoria would stay away. I decided not to leave. Not yet. This baby gave me one last hope. That evening, I cleaned the house, cooked Ethan's favorite meal, baked chicken and rice, and lit candles. The room looked warm and romantic. I was smiling again, dreaming of telling him the good news. But then the front door opened. It wasn't Ethan. It was Victoria. She entered without knocking as always. Her eyes looked around at the candles, the food, the flowers. What is this? She asked sharply. I took a deep breath. Victoria, I said softly, I'm pregnant. I'm going to have a baby. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she laughed a cold, angry laugh. Pregnant? No, that's impossible. It can't be Ethan's baby. I froze. Of course it's Ethan's baby, I said, my voice shaking. Her face turned red with anger. You liar! You trapped my son! You're trying to destroy our family! Before I could speak, she raised her hand and slapped me hard across the face. My cheek burned. My head spun. Tears poured from my eyes. I couldn't move. And then the door opened again. Ethan was home. He saw everything: the candles, the dinner, me crying, and his mother standing there. What's going on? He asked, confused. She slapped me, I whispered. He looked at his mother. Mom, did you hit Isabella? Victoria stood tall and proud. Yes, I did. She says she's pregnant, but I don't believe her. She's lying to you. I had to stop her. Ethan looked at me, then back at her. His eyes were full of pain. I believe Isabella, he said quietly. Victoria gasped. What did you say? I said, I believe her. She's my wife, and this is my baby. If you choose her over me, she shouted, then you're no longer my son. Ethan's voice broke as he said, if I have to choose, then I'm not your son anymore. Victoria screamed, said more angry words, and left the house, slamming the door behind her. Ethan ran to me and held me close. I'm so sorry, Isabella, he whispered. I cried in his arms, feeling his heartbeat against mine. After that night, Victoria didn't call for weeks. The house felt peaceful again. Ethan and I started talking more. He apologized for not seeing my pain before. He promised to stand by me and protect our little family. He came to doctor visits with me. He held my hand during every scan. When we saw our baby's tiny heartbeat on the screen, we both cried with joy. 8 months later, I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. Ethan looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, "Thank you, Isabella. You've given me everything." Our home was finally filled with love, the kind I had dreamed of for so long. One afternoon, my phone rang. It was Victoria. Her voice was soft, almost broken. "Isabella," she said, "can I come see the baby?" Ethan looked at me and said, "It's your choice." After a long silence, I said, "Yes, she can come." When she arrived a few days later, I was surprised. She looked older, weaker, like time had finally touched her heart. I took her to the baby's room. She looked at her grandson and whispered, "He looks just like Ethan." Tears filled her eyes. Then she turned to me and said, "Isabella, I was wrong about everything. About you, about the baby. I'm sorry." I nodded, my eyes soft. That was enough. We never became close, but there was peace now. She called before visiting. She spoke kindly. And Ethan, he never left my side again. Life taught me that even when everything feels broken, love and courage can heal the deepest wounds. Family is not about control. It's about respect, trust, and standing together. I once thought my world had fallen apart. But now I see it was only falling into place because sometimes the hardest storms bring us the most beautiful sunrises. If you enjoy this story, please like, comment, and share.